Hello everyone, welcome to Crowdfunding Crown Down, where we take a look at all the monarchs in British history and how they died. Actually, that would probably be an interesting show. That's not this show, it's Crowdfunding Countdown, where we take a look at all the Kickstarters and game founds and backer kits leaving the crowdfunding sphere this week, so you know if it's worth your money, if it's worth backing, now that we can see where they've gotten to, if they haven't canceled, and what their stretch goals are. And this is an exciting episode. This is episode 75, which just happens to correspond with covering 1,000 crowdfunding campaigns. Probably more because I include some as one-off jokes and I don't include them in the tally. But 1,000 crowdfunding campaigns have been covered after this show, after you finish watching it. And if you've watched every episode, well, then you know you have managed to resist almost 1,000 games. So you deserve to purchase something from this one. I'm breaking free of my normal. I'm going to encourage you to buy, just like NSYNC. Is it NSYNC or is it the Backstreet Boys? I honestly forget. Which one is it's NSYNC? It's NSYNC. I knew it was NSYNC. I did that last time.
That's the most shameful thing I've ever done on this channel.
I know, I called them the Backstreet Boys last time. That's why I was confused. Renee is heckling me from the side. You know that I am an imposter because a talentless hack, as the peanut gallery shouts at me. You can tell I have a very nice home life. That's what happens generally. But we have 1,000 campaigns that we've covered today, and I made a promise a way long back that whenever we get to campaign number 1,000, I'm backing it. So congratulations to one of the campaigns on this list. You are getting my money. Let's find out what that is. But before we do, I want to give a huge shout out to my two newest patrons, Gareth and Kira. Thank you so much for jumping on board, jumping into the Discord, which I swear it's not just my alt account. Shout out to the Rising Sun lovers out there, though. We have a little intro section on our Patreon, and Gareth is putting down everything that I resonate with, which is great. But don't worry, Kira, I still like you as well. And all of my patrons, future and present, thank you so much for continuing to support the channel. You make my life worth living. You make me able to stand up to the slings and arrows of outrageous peanut galleries. So let's get into the week, starting off with Foam Brain Games Puzzle Cube Dice. Oh, I hope that this may not even be a game. Maybe that's going to ruin my... Oh, will that ruin my count? No, it's in here now. I'm going to cover it. Yeah, I've covered dice stuff before. I can justify it. I looked ahead at what I was forced to purchase, and I actually think I might enjoy it, so I'm desperate to not screw that up for myself. Honestly, I just clicked on this because I thought it was colorful, but you know, these look kind of cool. I thought, this is colorful. This surely will be a game. The fact that it's $50 for a 8 set of dice, though, as cool as they do look, as fun as it would be to roll your Rubik's Cubes around, you could buy 8 Rubik's Cubes for that price. No, you probably couldn't. I'm having a real moral dilemma here because I don't care about this whatsoever. And in a normal day, I might just take this away because I don't actually have anything to say about it. This isn't a normal day because this is number 997. And if it's number 996, that means I have to get something else. So we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to pretend to enjoy it. Oh, look, you can transform your standard puzzle cube, which they're calling a puzzle cube and not a Rubik's Cube, probably for copyright infringement restrictions. You could just get a bunch of stickers to get your big Rubik's Cube and make it not usable, because they're individual stickers and they're not single stickers. So make it completely unusable. Oh no, okay, good. It does say 54 beautiful glossy stickers. This is not a good graphic, though. That would be much funnier if they just said, here's 6 stickers, put it on any old box, and now you got a dice. I wish that's what this campaign was, and actually that thought makes me excited that we are covering it. I mean, these look nice. They seem way too expensive. Those of you who purchase dice, how much have you spent on a dice set? That's what I'm curious to know. Because I know dice can be expensive, and I always find them to be too expensive. But these look kind of like a fun set. I like the color, so, you know, for all you dice lovers out there, that's why we're talking about it. All right, let's move on to an actual game. That finishes Wednesday, February 1st at 11:01 a.m., specifically 11:01 and not 11. That would be too soon. Let's move on to Wiz War. Tom Jolly's classic board game returns. Developed by Steve Jackson and illustrated by Phil Foglio, this fast-moving game has beautiful components for up to 6 players. Wiz War is an old game, isn't it? Let's see how old. Wiz War, the 8th edition, was in 2012. Re-implemented by Wiz War 9th edition. Let's keep on going. Oh, this is the 9th edition, 2023. 11 years later, that feels reasonable for an upgrade. Wiz War back in 1983 is when it first came out. The art kind of looks the same as it is now. This is an odd quote to start us off. Don't approach this seriously. That's for nerds. Well, I approach every game very seriously, and yes, I am a nerd, and I feel very alienated right now. Approach it like a powerful wizard back for another conflict with 2 to 6 of their favorite frenemies, with laughter, playful aggression, and unbridled violence. Well, I don't think you get any of those without serious commitment to being a wizard. Oof, from the year 1809. That was a long time ago. All right, let's see if there's actually a way to play. Unboxing, who cares? Nope, then it just talks about Greed Quest. Here's a frequently asked question. How do you play? So basically they're paring it down to go back to the original version without deck construction or extra figures because Fantasy Flight owns those. This is just atrocious. See, this is the sort of thing that I could have been forced into backing. Thank goodness it's number 998. I love that the beauty of this game is the cards and the strategy that comes with them. I wish I could tell you from this campaign page what the cards and strategy are. Seems like it's not that interesting because they don't want to talk about it. It's right there. It's right there. Okay, I have to figure out how to play this thing because it's just annoying me. It is nowhere on this page. Why would you have... This makes me incredibly frustrated because, well, it doesn't. It actually makes me know exactly what this game is. This game is not a good game and only appeals to people who liked it previously and wants to prey upon their nostalgia. That's what it is. Because if you're not going to actually emphasize what the game is and make it accessible to new players who haven't played it before, then I can only assume you don't want people to know how to play it. That's what I can assume right now. But we're going to figure out how to play it because I'm annoyed. This is the 8th edition rules. Thank you, Fantasy Flight. It's not often you hear that sentence, is it? First player to score 2 victory points. Every time you kill an enemy, you get a point. And anytime you bring an enemy treasure to your own base, you get a point. If only one player is left alive, you also win the game. So it's a battle royale style thing. You're going to be pulling out cards and whacking your opponents with them. That's probably it. I like this. Many of the magic cards in this game break the rules. Always follow the cards. This is cool. You can have temporary spells. You just have counters on them so that they only last a certain amount of time. Probably like force fields or buffs or whatever that is. You can only attack one person. That is fine. I love this specificity in these rules. If the magic deck runs out of cards, flip the discard pile face down and shuffle it to create a new magic deck. They don't just say shuffle it and assume you'll create a new magic deck because they obviously ran into a playtester issue where people grabbed it and they shuffled it, maliciously complying with the rulebook, and then had a card pile filled with cards that were face up. That honestly could be a interesting back and forth of different round structure, though, and how that would impact card draw. I guess you kind of could treat it as like a card market, and then people wouldn't draw from the deck if they saw what was happening, so maybe not that interesting. It would just stop people from drawing. I don't know. There could be something there, though. Yeah, I mean, that seems like a fine game. This seems like a garbage fire. If you want to be taken seriously, maybe tell people how to play the game and don't just include quotes of how fun it is, because that's not good enough in this day and age. Moving along to number 999. I was so close. You were so close once upon a line. If you had just funded a little bit later. I do seem cranky, aren't I?
Can't be that hard.
It can't be that hard. Include a rule book. Include literally the whole point of selling something is for people to use it. And it's like somebody trying to sell you a plunger. And you say, where does this go? I'm not telling. Do you stick it on the wall? Who knows? Do you throw it at your friends? Is it a weapon? No, you say, hey, this is how you use the thing that I'm selling you. Cranky Chris. Well, Cranky Chris is going to be less cranky because I'm really excited to cover this one. It's a narrative board game in a solo or cooperative in a post-apocalyptic saga with giant insects. What they don't mention is that it's also a sweet little scratch and sniff I mean, you could sniff. It's not part of the rules, but I think you could sniff. You may not want to sniff, depending what it's made from. Let's check this one out. The Grid of Destiny. That's a great name for it. I'm very intrigued. I didn't know that it was originally just a French publishing company, and then Lucky Duck is taking it on for translation. I thought it was just Lucky Duck that was bringing this to the market. I also do love that the Grid of Destiny, and then when they're scratching out, you see the line of tragedy when you're scratching out the time symbols. That brings me more joy than it should. Kind of reminds me of a Kickstarter campaign, the Campaign of Sadness. I first read this as the #1 scratch-off adventure game. I mean, it's that as well. I am interested at how the translation will work if it was designed for French language. I assume all the words are not going to be the same size, right? So how much change has really had to happen because of that? But I didn't know this was a word game. I was hoping this one would be number 1000, so I'd have a reason to back it. Ooh, feels like I've been scrolling forever, but it's only just over halfway down the page. So it's just a big crossword puzzle, kind of word search, kind of fill in the blanks. I'm very intrigued, but I don't know how stale this is going to get quickly. If it doesn't have a little bracket on the end of it, you haven't found a real word, but then you scratch it off using some actions to uncover the word, and you can use your deduction of where attached to the other word your word might be, but you can't scratch it off just yet, because if you uncover a skull, then of course you hit the line of tragedy, and you may not uncover the full Grid of Destiny. Here's why this is definitely a solo game, though. The heroes do not belong to any player. Everyone decides together what the heroes do. You may choose whichever hero you like, regardless of the order of who last played. So it's everybody working together saying, we do this. So if you have an alpha player, they're going to just play the game and you're going to watch. It feels like it's going to be a solo game, right? Just in the same way that writing out a crossword is kind of a solo activity, or maybe not. You could do that with people. You work on different clues, right? I think that's what this is attempting to replicate. And this is kind of fun. Every letter that you find, which has this other little bracket on it, you get to cross off like a little roll and write, and then you get these additional ways of scratching the Grid of Destiny off. I think it looks kind of fun. This is a good point too. They mentioned in the video that each scenario is going to take around 3 hours. So if you don't want to do that, then just make sure you scratch off much more quickly, or you can put it into 2 different sessions, right? This feels like something that you'll pull out, do a little scratching, do a little deduction, see what you can find, and then put it away. Definitely a solo experience from what I'm looking at, but you know, it's all right. And you definitely should get the €8 Butterfly's Breath Recharge Pack, because, well, then you can give it to somebody else when you're done, and for only $8 more. This is something you're going to play once, but €39, 57 Canadian. What's the shipping? 5 to Poland, $15 to the US, €13 to Europe, so around 13, 15, unless you live in Canada, and then it's 32. So it's definitely not worth that for me. This is not a $100 crossword puzzle. Sorry, a $90 crossword puzzle. But this is US dollars as well. So yeah, probably a $100 crossword puzzle if you live in Canada. No. But maybe it's a $42 crossword puzzle. Maybe it's a $52 crossword puzzle, rather. So if you're interested in that, that finishes February 3rd at 10 a.m. Now moving along to our 1000th Kickstarter, our 1000th crowdfunding campaign, something that I'm gonna have to back, so I hope it's good. Among Cultists, a social deduction thriller. This is number 1000. I should have built it up. I should have revealed it at the end, but I don't care. We're going to talk about it now. Among Cultists is by Godot Games, and they've made some stuff like Beyond Humanity, I want to say, and that looked good. Human Punishment, that's what it was. Beyond Humanity, is that another game, or did I just make that up? Human Punishment, this system looked pretty fun. Now they've gone to Among Cultists, which is basically Among Us, the board game. And it's social deduction, so it hits that for me. I'm getting this, whether I like it or not. So let's see if I can convince myself I like it. It finishes February 3rd at 1 p.m. I thought it might finish February 4th, but it does not. Let's check it out. I'm so thrilled. I don't purchase a lot of things, but if I had to purchase something, this looks okay. Yeah, I really botched that 1000 reveal, didn't I? Eh, well. It's because I'm not a cultist. I'm just an honest, good boy. I'm not a wicked bad boy. And wouldn't you know it, the rule book almost right at the top of the page. Godot Games, way to go. I even forgive you for tagging me in every single photo on Facebook. Actually, if you're not part of their Facebook group, you should go because they consistently do giveaways for other games. And you just have to like write a comment or something. And it's a smart marketing tactic because that's how I found out about them during Human Punishment. I already like this though. There's one cultist for 4 to 6 players, 2 cultists for 7 to 8 players. If you played Among Us, that's what they're trying to replicate. But at the end of each round, you can end the game by claiming you fulfilled your victory condition. However, if you're voted out before you can make your claim, you're going to lose, which I like. For the investigators, you have 10 rounds to complete your objective. Oh, and you can have different roles as well. Play with the cultists and the seer. So very similar to Werewolf or any other social deduction games, you can add in varying roles as you play the game. That's cool. I'm actually excited about this. I'm excited about it knowing that I am forced to get it by no reason other than a milestone. This is an odd statement, though. In general, you may talk about anything except your true team affiliation and role. However, you may always claim to belong to a certain side, or not, and doubt the statements of other players. Well, if you can't talk about your team affiliation, then you always have to say you're the opposite thing. That just feels weird. And this is neat. The investigators are limited to what rooms they can use. And so you say, listen, I had to go to the pink room because that's how I can do my action. We need me to do my action so that we can win the game. But if you're a cultist, you can lie about that and you say, listen, I had to go to the pink room when you really just were tracking down someone else. And you can never use rooms of the same color successively. So that's how you can catch your cultists in a lie. Yeah, seems very simple. You move, you draw an event token from the bag and you enact it. You do one action. It can either be a room action or a character action. And then you clean up and do it again. I'm in. All right. So it's £50, $73 Canadian. Yeah, that's more than I would want to spend, honestly. But here we are. Let's see what the shipping is. Or you can get a couple of expansions as well for $94, 137 Canadian. Which, if you know you're going to like it, you're going to want new maps, and you want to put yourself in the game. But it seems like you have to get your own stickers to put on there. This is always a dumb stretch goal, though. Having just a card that says, hooray, you won. Does anybody ever take pictures of that? I don't think they do. See, it's also a bit of a shame that all the unlocks, they're adding in new roles and professions into the expansions just to encourage you to purchase the expansions. That's why they're doing that. 133,000. They could have gotten me for a lot less. You'll feel 100% the friendly paranoia vibes of the video game phenomenon that inspired Among Cultists, which we hope you know what that is since we say Among Us numerous times throughout the video, but we don't write Among Us, you know, because they don't want to get sued. See, there's a part of me that really wants the maps, but I think I'll probably just stay with the base game. If it's a good social deduction game, you shouldn't need those extra maps, right? USA, 10 euros. That's not bad. Where's Canada? Canada, 12 euros. Look at that, shipping friendly. That's not too bad. That's pretty good shipping, actually. So it'll be like 80 bucks. Not the worst thing in the world. And you can do a group buy if other people want to save that little bit on shipping, which you could do, but 12 bucks, well, I mean, it's really like 17 for Canada, so being able to split that sounds great. That one seems pretty fun, even if I wasn't forced to get it by a deal that I made that nobody remembered. But I will honor, because that's, again, how I am, not a cultist. Check that out. That's Friday, February 3rd at 1 p.m. Moving along to Stagetop, the 3D printed gaming table. And this one is very exciting. See, it's only $48. You can get yourself a gaming table for $48, plus all the cost of the electricity running your 3D printer and all the cost of the filament from your 3D printer and the time that it takes to print it. But still, I love this as a concept. I love affordable, interesting projects that are coming out, and so I want to cover this. It seems like a lot of people love it too. Let's check it out. They're not having any voice, so I can mute this and just watch. This looks cool. Pick the size and style that matches your game, but you're kind of putting it on an existing table. I think that's the trick. You're just elevating something on an existing table that you already have, which you might already be playing games on. Oh, I don't know though. Breakfast and games in bed? You got my attention. Or using it as a puzzle. That's actually great. Oh, who wouldn't want to do that as a puzzle, right? So for the most part, they're just sticking it on every table. Although that's neat with the dice tower. Interesting. This reminds me of a project that was out, which was just like a elevated stage for your games. I can't remember what it was called. This just gives you the digital files. I'm really intrigued by this, but I don't understand its purpose when you actually see it in action. You know that you have a table. It's the exact same size of table below these people's tables. They're just, I guess it gives you space for drinks and whatever and food underneath, which to be fair is actually a decent consideration. I was playing a game the other day, especially when they're big and not needing to have plates or side plates, but I often don't eat when I'm playing games because I get so engrossed in them. So not a complete consideration. I do love this dice tower idea, even though it's just a silly gimmick. I think it's very fun. But it gives you the option if you want, if you enjoy having those sort of card holders on the outside. That's interesting. Ooh, the Stagetop Elite. And I guess if you need to extend your table, this might be interesting. Or just to be able to print out the accessories, honestly. Although I'm sure you could find other people who have designed equally fun accessories that you don't have to pay for. Let's see the strength and stability test. Where are you dropping it, though? You're dropping it right in the center. You're not doing a test for people leaning on the table with their elbows, which is what people might do. You don't want to have a table that if you put any weight on the side, it's going to just flip up, right? That would be the worst. You make everything into a Terraforming Mars player board. I'm less excited now. I was really excited to check this out. I'm less excited about it now because I don't see any evidence that it could take the place of a full table, that you wouldn't need a table underneath it, and that if you're leaning on it, it wouldn't flip. Dang, I was very excited to see what this would cost. They also don't, well, let's see if they have it in the FAQ. How much weight can it hold? It holds your heftiest board games, yeah, sure. What filament was used, but it doesn't say how much filament was used. Close-look storage, themed tables, funded an hour. Add 25% to the rail times. I see estimated print times for the light and standard example tables. Okay, maybe I missed those. Oh, there you go. You can get a free Dice Tower STL if you just want to print that. Oh, here we go. Print times. Frame, 365 minutes, 339 minutes. It tells you the grams here. Total, 4.4 kilograms of filament. Okay, that's great. For the light, 230 hours. 459 hours. That's like one episode of Crowdfunding Countdown. Uncut. 5.5 kilograms of filament. That's not bad. So each 5 kilogram spool is perfect for bulk printing. List price $89 to $94. That's pretty good. So it'll be around $100, $150 to print this thing out, providing you already have the 3D printer, right? If you don't, well, then you're not going to be interested in it. So that takes away my concern about the cost being too high, which is great. But still, I'm underwhelmed because I was expecting there to be a way for this to be larger, for you to be able to pull it out like a card table and you don't need a base on it. And I don't see it not flipping if you're not leaning on the edge. That would be, again, one of my sort of larger concerns. If you know the answer to that, and they've already answered it, well, make sure to drop that in the comments below. Otherwise, I think it's pretty cool. That finishes Saturday, February 4th at 12 a.m., so Friday night. If you are interested in getting the files for that, but I mean, let's be real, you can probably get it from them anytime because they will have them forever. So yeah, check that out. That would be a cool project. Maybe if you have the space for it, maybe if you have the printer already to try. It's about a $150 investment and, well, a lot of time, but kind of neat. Next up, just quickly, I wanted to talk about this AI-generated card game, Fog of Adventure. Because why would you need to play a game that was designed by someone who likes games when you can just play a game that was completely AI generated? How is this a thing? I don't know, and I'm not looking into it any further. Because I'm too busy throwing my Hissy Fit, which is our next card game, our next campaign, a really good game for this week, or at least how we started, as Renee was shouting at me that I was Cranky Chris. They've got Artie's General Expression as their mascot. No, he doesn't throw a hissy fit. Yes, he does. Every day. Every single day. Let's check it out. A cooperative card game of coordinated cat coaxing. Renee already wishes that this was my 1000th campaign that I was covering. No, it was 1002.
What?
Yeah, sorry.
Go back.
And if you take out Stagetop, because that's not really a thing, And if you really took out the puzzle cube dice, because that's not really a thing, this would have been it. But it's among cultists instead. You have Hissy Fit on your lap right now. Fantastic video. Really tells you anything you need to know. The art here is very funny. I particularly like the dead stare card, which Renee and Artie both like to give me. I wish that was picked up on the mic. I look over at Renee. The responses. Hey. Very simple game. You're trying to manage these cat cards as they friggin' lose their mind running around, and you try to deal with them with your human cards to the best of your ability. Whenever cat cards come up, they have an instant effect and they have an ongoing effect, and you want to clear them while moving the cat towards the cat carrier and not getting scratched too many times. You can get a print and play for $3 US, $5 Canadian. It's $20 US, 27 Canadian. That feels honestly like a nice price point. Rulebook right at the top of the page, but you barely need it if you watch that video. It's so clear, especially because there's only 2 pages, which tells you everything you need to know. I don't feel like there's anything here that I do need to know that the video didn't cover. Have a Hissy Fit for $20. Get the print and play for $3. Wow! And this, get a game, adopt a cat, $21. Get a full copy of Hissy Fit, and if you adopt a cat within 30 days of the end of the Kickstarter, by March 8th, 2023, our team will reimburse up to $200 in adoption and or veterinary fees related to that cat's adoption. Note this pledge level does not include a cat or any other live animal, only reimbursement for your own privately arranged cat adoption through your local shelter or other appropriate agency. Please do not pledge at this level if you're not interested in a lifelong commitment required to own a pet. That's awesome. Way to go, Hissy Fit. Yeah, this looks like a really nice, simple card game. Quick to play. If you like co-ops, check it out. If you like cats, the owner clearly is a big cat fan. I don't really like cats, but so I'm not quite interested for me. $20 US, 27 Canadian, and then it's $14 shipping to Canada. So total would be $34 US, which would be about $50 Canadian. Yeah, it is a bit expensive after shipping, well, and conversion. But I think, honestly, no complaints about the gameplay. I think the gameplay looks really solid. You know what you're getting, and a reasonable deal, and reasonable shipping, too. So if you're interested in that, check it out. That's Monday, February 6th at 8:08 a.m. Let's keep moving along to Roll for the Great Old Ones, a roll and write game. Renee doesn't know that the Great Old Ones refers to Cthulhu. If you didn't know that, that makes this title significantly funnier. Roll for the Great Old Ones. A cooperative venture into monsters, myth, and madness for 1 to 4 against ancient evil powers, so it's co-op. Cool, seems pretty neat. Let's see the rulebook. I love that there are multiple scenarios. Let's see if there even is a rulebook. Most roll and writes that have print and plays don't have them, but you have kind of pictures of the scenarios right here. Click for a full turn in detail. Very detailed. Let's see how detailed. Very detailed. This is a very detailed representation of a complete turn with all phases. In this example, some lucky cases were deliberately taken into account to show what's possible in terms of creating bonuses. Not every turn will be this complex. There's your disclaimer. Oh, this is cool, because you'll always get to choose between the two D2s, between the two D6s, and you'll know what scenario is going to occur and what the result is going to be based upon what you leave behind. And I bet it's often lower numbers are good for you, but higher numbers are good for them, right? And you'll have to do that balance. I hope that's what it is. Nice, you're gaining numbers, you're adding new numbers to different spots. This also feels, good luck, Mandy. Yeah, good luck, Mandy. This also feels like a solo game as well, especially with that example, but even still because it's cooperative. But I guess the more people you have, the more cultists get their actions, so you have to be more efficient. I would just think with more people, you would be able to, the time would shorten, right? So that would be my concern, but I don't know. I don't know anything if I haven't made that clear, ever. I do know one thing. This campaign, trash. Everything else, though, has been honestly really good this week. Step your cat up, Wiz Wars. Step your Hissy Fit up. Do you want me to get Hissy Fit?
Yes.
It'll cost $50. You're not even going to play it more than once. I'll get the print and play if you find a place where we can print it out. Bob Savo, the actor. Bob is a passionate actor who has no fear of the cultists or their creatures. That's not true. Actors are the biggest cowards I know. We take direction for a living. We just do what you want us to do. We're dancing monkeys. When defeating cultists, Bob can lose 2 health at once to defeat 2 more cultists because he flails around, not knowing what to do with his life, and two cultists just get hit by happenstance. Canada, US are in zone 4, so $12, but it's $10 print and play. $10 print and play, or 25 plus 12 or 10 or 9, so 9 to 12, basically the same thing. $35 basically to get it to your door. This seems like a fun little roll and write. What I really like about this one is that there are 4 scenarios and 4 investigators, right? The fact that you have those variable player powers and you have the variable scenarios and how they can all interact, that feels fun to me. That feels like it'll be a fun puzzle to figure out, and hopefully it'll be replayable as well. So yeah, really like the look of this one too. Good job, Roll for Great Old Ones. The boomers are doing well. Moving along to our final campaign of the week. I thought it would never get here, but it does exist. I'm really excited to take a look into this one. Batman Escape from Arkham Asylum. I think the sculpts on these have looked really cool. This I thought was going to come out mid last year, and then it didn't. So I'm excited to take a look at what they finally have on offer and if it's going to be any good. I know it's going to be expensive, but the minis, the sculpts did look really fun. So I'm hoping there is a good game attached to it. I love this line from the video. You will play, have fun, and win as the bad guy. Which, according to Renee, is who I am in this episode of Crowdfunding Countdown. I've been very nice, I thought, to most of the games. I haven't read the rulebook yet. I'm intrigued by the video, but I'm mostly intrigued by how many times it said, "Are you ready to be bad?" I've always been ready to be bad. I think everyone should know that by now. 125 euros, $182 Canadian, and then plus shipping. Yeah, I knew it was going to be expensive. However, they have unlocked a bunch of different characters, so we'll see how much of an impact that's going to have, and some different skins. They're just doing different sculpts of other characters. Rorschach the Riddler, Mr. Freeze. I'm not even a huge Batman fan. I mean, I like Batman. I haven't yet seen Robert Pattinson do it, but this looks cool. Move over, Marvel. It's finally time for DC to do something. Just anything. Oh yeah, these look great when they're painted. Give me a rule book though. Where is it? Where are you? It works. It actually works. I had an idea for a sketch a really long time ago called Batman Makeup Tutorial, that if somebody wants to steal and make, I don't know if I'm ever going to make it, but it would be someone in a Batman mask just doing YouTube makeup tutorials. That's all it would be. Yeah, today we're going to really focus on the smoky eye. You're going to take a little bit of black paint and just rub it all over the area. I think it would be a really good bit. You could do so many iterations of it, right? Just different cat eyes, eyeshadows. This is frustrating though that I don't see the rulebook readily available. Maybe I missed it. It's going to be 30 to 35 bucks in shipping, which for a big old box, that makes sense. Dev diary. We have a plan. I'd love to know what the plan is. Yes, they end every update with, "Be bad. I hope you're bad." Oh, jeez. This is the problem with hiding things in the dev diaries, because gameplay. Enjoy the long-awaited gameplay of Batman Arkham Asylum. Why are these not showcased on the main event? The amount of effort that they're making you take to learn about the game is annoying. All right, so I'm just watching through this is a good video if you're interested in figuring out how to play. It's a long video, but a lot of the gameplays are. You're going to set up the map in this variable way. You start with your cell, and then you put corridors out based around the number of players. Corridors will have you spawn additional stuff. And then each player character, which this is what's exciting me as well, is you're going to get a number of dice depending upon the type of action that you want to do. And then you can also, if you're rolling like a little question mark, I think they said question mark, or a symbol, if you get a certain number of those symbols, you can activate like a special ability. So that gives me Too Many Bones vibes, which is great because that's a fun dice roller in terms of figuring out what you're doing. And chucking dice and activating abilities is always fun. In each scenario that you're going to play, you're also going to be having one of these escape plans, and that tells you where you need to go, what sort of items you need to get, and how you need to disable the boss to get out of there. And so that's what this update is all about, is explaining that and how the different scenarios impact the different people. And it is true, I kind of like this sort of really modular board because you can set out the map however you like. I can see the ability for a lot of variable scenarios. When the scenarios are really just, find a specific room, go there at a specific time, don't alert the villains. Every time you move into a room, you need to do like an alert check. That's what this event deck is going to be constantly being flipped up. There'll be symbols on it, kind of similar to like Nemesis. It's giving me a bit of that exploration style vibe because you're going to want to make sure you don't alert people to your presence. And then, guards might run at you, or Batman could appear and try to punch you in the face. Be bad! It is annoying to find out stuff about it, especially because it's buried in the updates. Gameplay is update number 19, and we are currently on update number 27, so you have to scroll down all the way if you even want to get to that, and they have some references here, which is good. I just wish it was a little bit more detailed here. It feels like it's being purposefully showing you all the cute, shiny stuff and not emphasizing the gameplay, which seems fine, right? It seems like a fine dungeon crawler gameplay. You roll dice. I don't see any like major flaws that jump out at it. It's up to you if it's going to be worth that €125 plus $30 shipping. So $155 basically if you want to get this to your door, which for a big box is kind of the going rate nowadays, $200 Canadian. And it's nice that estimated shipping kind of goes under MSRP too. I don't know. It depends how many big boxes of dungeon crawlers you really have, and if the Batman theme is going to get you to get it to the table, right? Or if Poison Ivy and Bane are going to get you to get it to the table. It does seem fun though. So if you're interested in that, it finishes next Tuesday, the February 7th at 5:59 p.m. And that's it. That is it for the week. So actually some really interesting games this week, it seems. That was fun to go through. There was only one that I didn't like. And I'll give you one guess if you can tell me which one that is. But every week I do a pick for me and a pick for you. And I'm going to throw out the idea of the number 1,000. Maybe the pick for me is just to pick one of these from this episode since I'm hitting 1,000. Is that going to be among Cultists? Maybe it's Batman Escape from Arkham Asylum. I don't know. It feels like there's a lot of decent ones here. And I'm struggling because I'm really struggling. Maybe I've been blurry this whole time, but I'm really struggling. I am struggling with Batman Arkham Asylum because it looks good, but I haven't seen a full rulebook, so I haven't been able to look under the hood, right? I think the pick for me legitimately is going to be among Cultists, which is good because it is the pick for me, and I am backing this project. I'm on my other computer, so I can't do it right now to prove it, but let's see if I remember my password. Just to prove it, let's do it right here. Confirmation, pledge, yeah, don't look at my Visa. Look at that confetti going. Official, I mean, I could just cancel it, but yeah, I think among Cultists, it does look fun. I think this will actually see play because I play with a lot of people who like social deduction. I think it is just Among Us the game, and I think it's actually a really good implementation of Among Us the game that I'm sure so many people were scrambling to try to do during the pandemic. I think this looks like it is the closest that I've seen. And I've liked the stuff that Godot Games was putting out. I think their Human Punishment ended up being too pricey for me. I mean, realistically, this probably would have been too pricey for me. I think this is like a $60 game, like a $50 to $60 game. But after conversion and shipping, I don't know if it's necessarily worth it, but that doesn't matter. It's number 1,000, and it is the pick for me. It's legitimately the thing that I am the most interested in this week. My pick for you is going to be Batman Escape from Arkham Asylum. I do think if you're going to get it to the table, and if you don't have that many dungeon crawls in your cabinets, and if you enjoy painting minis, and if you like a modular system, and if price isn't a factor for you, if all of those things are true, then it's the pick for you. It's still a tentative pick for you because I haven't seen the exact things, but go to watch that Let's Play on Tabletop in their gameplay section, update number 19, if you're interested. That gave me a really nice sense of it. I watched like the first 25 minutes of it for you all. So yeah, I would watch that for sure. That'll give you a sense of the decisions that will come up and the randomness and if it feels like it's going to be your speed. I think the theme here is pushing it a lot higher than potentially the mechanics deserve to be, but that's part of the game, right? That's part of the feeling, that's part of being able to get people to the table, and I think this theme does go a long way, and the minis look great. So yeah, that would be my pick for you. But again, with those sorts of caveats, because it is very expensive. So if you have other dungeon crawlers that you like equally, then you don't need this whatsoever, right? As always. Anyway, Hissy Fit is close though. That's the pick for Renee. An honorable pick for Renee this week is Hissy Fit. She says she's devastated, but she won't take the bare minimum effort required to find a place where we can print these cards. So how devastated can one be? The art here is really good, though. Yeah, I quite a lot of good games this week. Like legitimately, I think if you backed a lot of these things, they'll probably deliver on the promise that they're giving you, right? So let me know if you are backing what you are backing this week. If you're backing anything next week, because it's going to be Marvel United. Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I always like hearing from you. My name's Chris George, and I don't have a catchphrase, and that's probably what's been making me so cranky. But perhaps I'll go and eat something, and just know that I appreciate and love you all. And a special love goes to all the game designers that I inevitably hurt their feelings. I don't mean it. I'm just a bad boy. It's as they say in Batman Arkham Asylum, be bad. I'll see you in the next one.